Freedom is what we all want since the day we were born. Freedom to pursue our passion, freedom to go where we want, freedom to live life on our terms. But the real freedom, the kind that gives us confidence to be our true selves, can only be realized when all our financial worries are laid to rest. Hi, I'm Navin Kumar Singh, and me and my team will explore the enigmatic idea of feeling secure financially, an aspiration which often seems elusive, yet entirely within our reach. Join us as we navigate the depths and unveil the secrets of financial freedom. We understand that path to true freedom is paved with financial security. That's why we delve deep into the question that why saving is important and what profound benefits it brings to life.
Savings. Savings is a process of allocating a portion of your income for future use. It may sound simple and easy, but trust me, it's not. It's a skill which requires a lot of patience and experience. You can save for various reasons. It can be a long-term desire to buy or achieve something. It can also safeguard you in cases of emergencies. Savings is often a long-term process, and I'd like to demonstrate you this process through a short and fun story. Sameer and Rohan are co-workers in an organization. They get equal salaries and they're roommates as well. Recently, Rohan purchased a new bike, which got Sameer curious that we live in the same room, we get equal salaries, but how did Rohan purchase a new bike? I am in no condition to purchase one. Then how did he? And this sparked a curiosity within him. He started to keep a tab of both of their expenses during a month. Here is a list of their expenses in the month of June, which Sameer calculated. Sameer calculated a various of factors which contribute to their lifestyles. Some of them were food, rent, entertainment, bills, travel outing, as well as shopping. Let's explore these in detail. We can see how much Rohan and Sameer spent on these factors and we'll analyze their differences. In case of food, Rohan spent 3,000, Sameer spent 5,600. They both ordered from different mess. Sameer is a big foodie and likes to order frequently from Zomato, while Rohan orders occasionally. A thing to note that Sameer has spent 2,600 more than Rohan. As I mentioned earlier, they are roommates, so their rents are same, 6,000 respectively. And entertainment, Rohan spent only 500 rupees while Sameer spent 1,200 rupees. Rohan is subscribed to a DTH subscription while Sameer has 2 OTT subscriptions as well. A thing to know, they equally share a Netflix account. Bills, again, they're roommates, so almost all of their bills like electricity, Wi-Fi are equal and they have the same mobile plan. So their expenses in bills are 1,500 each. We often like to explore and have fun. These are their expenses for travel and outing. Rohan spent 1,500 while Sameer spent 2,800. Shopping. Shopping contains multiple e-commerce websites like Flipkart, Amazon, and a few grocery ordering apps as well. A thing to note here as well, Sameer has spent more than Rohan. Sameer is a tech geek. He likes to be updated with latest trends and he likes to purchase new gadgets, and this is the reason why he has spent more than Rohan again. Now let's come to the interesting part, the total of expenses in the month of June. Rohan spent 14,500 while Sameer spent 21,600. A big difference, right? These small expenses contributed to a large difference in the end of month. The difference came out to be 7,100 rupees. That means Samir spent 7,100 rupees more than Rohan. But again, 7,000 in a month. But if you look at it annually, that difference multiplies to 85,200. By limiting on expenses, Rohan was able to save approximately 85,200 rupees more than Samir. Now the bike purchase makes sense, doesn't it? So Samir also recognized his fault and started saving. Here's the interesting part. We only discussed their expenses. We did not get into their salaries or the actual savings they managed to get at the end of the month. So by limiting on your expenses, these small savings can contribute to a large saving which would help you and benefit you in the future. Savings are not only beneficial in achieving long-term goals, it also reduces financial strain in terms of unforeseen circumstances like medical expenses, bills, repairs, and even retirement. If you want to explore and gain freedom, savings are really vital for you. If you want to explore new career opportunities, savings again will become beneficial for you. If you have savings, you have a parachute, a lifeline with you.
In the journey towards financial freedom, timing is of utmost importance. The question that arises is, when should one start saving? The answer is simple. The sooner, the better.
Greetings. I welcome you all for the presentation on the topic when to start saving. Saving money is essential for financial security and achieving future goals. In this presentation, we will explore the importance of starting to save early in life and discuss practical strategies to encourage saving. To begin with, let's now know the power of starting early. Starting to save early provides a significant advantage. Compound interest plays a crucial role in growing savings over time. By starting early, individuals can harness the power of compounding and watch their savings grow exponentially. Let's now take an example to show how starting saving early can grow money. There are three young men of age 20 years named Rohan, Samir, and Aman who had a job and managed to save 50,000 per year from their earning till the age of 64. So let's now look at the case 1, where Rohan at the age of 20 started investing his savings of 50,000 per year for 9 years and then he stopped investing at the age of 28 years. Rohan then decided to keep his invested amount till the age of 65 years. Now let us consider case 2, where Samir, who initially spent all his savings without any investment till the age of 28 years, and he decided to start investing till he reaches the age of 37 years, that is 9 years of investing. Then he stopped investing and decided to keep these 9 years of savings invested till he reaches 65 years of age. Now let's look at the case 3, where Aman started investing 50,000 per year at the age of 28 and continued his investment till he reached 65 years of age. Now considering CAGR percent as 10%, Rohan made a whopping 2.31 crore on investment of just rupees 4.5 lakhs, whereas Samir made 1.08 crore on investment of 4.5 lakhs and Aman made 1.81 crore on investment of 18 lakhs. Also, I have included the calculator link for you to plan and start investing. From previous example, we come to the conclusion that developing good saving habits from an early age has numerous benefits, like harnessing the power of compound interest, building strong financial foundation, achieving financial goals sooner, such as education, home ownership, or retirement, overcoming unexpected expenses, taking advantage of investment opportunities. Overall, starting to save early sets you on a path towards financial security freedom, and the ability to achieve your long term financial goals. It allows you to make the most of your financial resources and take advantage of the benefits that come with early savings accumulation. Encouraging saving among different age groups require tailored strategies. For children and teenagers, we can introduce the concept of goal-based savings using visual aids or saving jars, teaching them to allocate a portion of their allowance or earnings towards savings. For young adults, emphasize the importance of budgeting, setting financial goals, and automating savings contributions. Encourage them to take advantage of employer matched retirement plans and establish an emergency fund. For adults, discuss strategies like building an emergency fund equivalent to 3 to 6 months of expenses, exploring retirement plans options such as EPF, NPS, etc., and considering long term investments. So now we have come to the conclusion that saving early in life sets the foundation for a financially secure future. By understanding the power of compound interest and developing good saving habits, individuals can achieve their financial goals more effectively. Remember, it is never too early or too late to start saving. Take action today and secure your financial future. Thank you. I wish you all the best in your journey towards financial success and stability.
But it doesn't end there. We take a comprehensive look at the choices before us: saving, investing, and insurance, their advantages, risk, and potential returns. Armed with this knowledge, we can make informed decisions and take control of our financial destinies.
Now we are going to discuss the topic of savings versus investment versus insurance. The term savings typically refers to the practice of depositing our money in banks or post offices, either through a savings account or a fixed deposit. The primary objective of this savings method is to safeguard our money for future needs while ensuring easy accessibility through emergencies. Moreover, an additional aim is to generate some level of growth within a relatively short time frame. Investment serves as an alternative approach to allocating our money across various financial institutions such as stock, bonds, and real estate. The objective of investing is to foster long-term wealth growth and accomplish financial goals that span an extended duration. Unlike savings, investments offer the potential for considerably higher returns. Insurance serves a distinct purpose compared to savings or investments. Its primary function is to provide protection and financial coverage against potential future calamities or risk. Various types of insurance exist, including life insurance, health insurance, and more. The aim is to mitigate the impact of unforeseen events by offering a safety net, ensuring individuals or their dependents are financially supported during challenging times. It is indeed crucial to consider the impact of inflation when making financial decisions. Inflation refers to the overall increase in prices of goods and services over time. To assess the actual return on investment, it is essential to account for inflation by considering the concept of real rate returns. Real rate returns reflect the adjusted return rate after factoring in the inflation rate. Let's say Ram invested in share at 12% and the inflation rate was 7%. Then after adjusting the inflation, we calculate the real rate return, we can see that it is actually 4.67%. Here we can examine the approximate fixed deposit rates and inflation trends from 2017 to 2021. It becomes evident that real rate returns turn negative starting from 2020. This highlights the importance of remaining cautious about inflationary pressure and their potential impact on investments and savings. It is prudent to account for inflation when evaluating the true value and growth potential of financial assets. This graph simply illustrates the potential growth of a 1 lakh rupee investment from the year 2013 to 2021 across various financial instruments. Let's compare savings, investment, and insurance based on several factors. Purpose. The purpose of savings is to provide for future needs and create a financial safety net, whereas the purpose of investment is to grow assets and achieve specific financial goals. The purpose of insurance, on the other hand, is to offer financial protection against risk and unforeseen events. Benefits. Savings provide a secure and steady growth of money, although with low return rates. Investment have the potential to generate higher returns and grow assets beyond expectations. Insurance offers coverage and financial protection against various risks and uncertainties. Risk. Savings typically involve low risk, especially when deposited in stable financial institutions. Investments carry comparatively higher risk as the potential for high returns is often accompanied by market volatility and fluctuations. Insurance itself does not entail any risk, however, it is essential to research the insurance company and policy terms before committing. It is important to note that each of these financial tools serves a different purpose and has its own sets of advantages and considerations. Depending on individual financial goals, risk tolerance, and circumstances, a combination of savings, investment, and insurance strategies can be employed to create a well rounded financial plan.
Determining the optimal amount to save and invest may feel daunting. By considering your financial goals, incomes, and risk tolerance, you can navigate the path of financial freedom step by step.
Having explored the why, how, and when of investments, it's crucial to address the pertinent question of where to invest. The abundance of options such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, cryptocurrencies, and bank saving accounts make selecting the right investment a challenging task. While numerous factors come into play when choosing an investment option, one of the primary considerations is your risk tolerance. If you're comfortable with higher levels of risk, you might explore investments with the potential for greater returns. Conversely, if stability is your preference, opt for lower risk investments. While these are not the only options available, we strongly advise conducting a thorough analysis before making any investment decisions. Let us look at the four major investment options. I have associated a risk meter along with the reward and an example for each. Stocks are generally considered to have a high risk profile compared to other investment options. The value of stocks can fluctuate significantly in response to various factors such as economic conditions, company performance, industry trends, and market sentiment. While stocks offer the potential for high returns, they also carry the risk of capital loss. An example would be if you had invested $1,000 in Tesla stock 5 years ago, today the investment would be worth $8,000. Next up, mutual funds. The risk profile of mutual funds can vary depending on the type of funds. Equity funds that invest in stocks can have higher risk compared to bond funds that invest in fixed income securities. However, mutual funds provide diversification across multiple securities, which can help mitigate risk. It's important to carefully assess the risk level of specific mutual funds before investing, considering factors such as the fund's investment objective, asset allocation, and historical performance. An example would be that if you invest 2000 rupees monthly for a period of 5 years in a balanced mutual fund, you would have invested a total of 1.2 lakhs and would have gained approximately 1.48 lakhs on it. Next, we move on to fixed deposits. Fixed deposits are generally considered to have a lower risk profile. They provide a guaranteed return on investment and are typically offered by banks or financial institutions with a fixed interest rate for a specific period. However, fixed deposits may be subject to inflation risk, where the returns may not keep up with the inflation over the long term. An example of fixed deposits would be if you had invested approximately a lakh rupees at a rate of interest of 6.5% over 5 years, the invested amount would have yielded you a total of 1,38,000 approx. Last, we look at real estate. Real estate investments can have varying levels of risk depending on factors such as location, market conditions, and property type. While real estate can provide stable returns and potential appreciation, it can be affected by factors like economic downturns, changes in property market conditions, and liquidity issues. Additionally, property investments requires ongoing maintenance and may have high transaction costs. An example would have been that if you had invested in a property for almost 20 years, your appreciation would have been at a rate of approximately 17% per year. This is just an approximation, as real estate can be tricky. While everyone aims for financial gain, it's crucial to underscore the reality of devastating financial losses that some individuals have experienced. It's essential to be informed, seek professional advice when needed, and exercise caution to protect one's financial well-being. The global financial crisis. Risky lending practices and complex financial instruments led to a collapse in the housing market, triggering a widespread economic downturn. Investors who had taken on excessive risk faced substantial losses, highlighting the importance of understanding the risks associated with investments, even seemingly stable ones. The next would be the dot-com bubble. During the late 1990s, there was a speculative frenzy around internet-based companies, and stock prices soared to unsustainable levels. However, when the bubble burst in the early 20s, many investors faced significant losses as stock prices plummeted. The high potential returns attracted investors, but the high risk associated with speculative investments eventually led to substantial losses. There are many things that need to be kept in mind when thinking about where to invest. Here are our top 4 things that you should definitely keep in mind. 1. Financial goals. Clearly define your short-term and long-term financial objectives to choose investments that align with your specific goals. Second, your risk tolerance. Assess your comfort level with risk and choose investments that match your risk tolerance, balancing potential returns with the level of risk you are willing to take. The third, always diversify. Spread your investments across different asset classes to reduce overall risk and protect your portfolio from significant losses. The fourth, The time horizon. Consider your investment time horizon before needing the funds, as it will influence the type of investments that are suitable for your needs. That's all from me. Thank you.
Now that we have ventured into the realm of investment options, it's time to delve deeper and explore some advanced techniques of balancing risk and return. This section is going to be mathematically intensive, so if you're not a math fan, feel free to skip it. Balancing risk and return, how much to save and how much to invest. When deciding this issue, there's always a conundrum in our mind. For one, saving, like in FDs or saving bank accounts, is safe, but it has low returns. On the other hand, investing in stocks, options, or futures, they have good returns, but then they are risky. Even two mutual funds can have different risk return profile. On the left side of the screen, we see a mutual fund with high CAGR, but very high risk. While on the right hand side, we see a mutual fund with pretty low CAGR, but then pretty low risk as well. And on the top, nothing in life is 100% safe. Sometimes even the banks can collapse. And one recent example is Silicon Valley Bank in US. So in the face of this kind of uncertainty, how can someone minimize risk and yet at the same time maximize the returns? So there's the old wisdom which says don't put all your apples in a single basket. And that means you should not put all your money in the same investment or saving scheme. So a good solution is to diversify your portfolio as much as you can. But that is not an easy thing to do, right? Well, at least we have something which can help us do that. So in this section, we'll be learning how to implement linear programming to plan for an optimal portfolio to minimize risk or maximize the returns. So first thing we need to do is to define a problem. We need to convert our portfolio optimization goal into a mathematical problem, into some clear, concise statements. So we take this as an example scenario. Here we assume that we have 1 lakh rupees to invest and we want to maximize the return, but then at the same time we do not want to put more than 20% of our money to high risk assets. We also want to restrict the total amount of risk to the maximum of 60%. And then how should we allocate our funds to different investment options so that we can achieve these financial goals? So here's a set of investment options that we'll be using for this problem. We can see that we have 4 options here. The first one is FD with CAGR of 5.5% and has a very low risk associated with it. Then there is this mutual fund, Tata India Tax Saving Fund, which has a very impressive CAGR of 23.61%, but at the same time also has very high risk profile. The third one is another mutual fund called Nippon India Liquid Fund. It has a pretty moderate CAGR, which is slightly above FD of 6.63%. Even the risk profile is pretty moderate. And then the fourth option is an index with its CAGR of 13.16%, and it also has a pretty moderate risk associated with it because Sensex is a collection of top 30 blue chip companies of India. Now the next step is to define an objective function, but first we'll look at some variables. So we'll assume that F represents the amount we put in FDs, T represents the amount that we invest in Tata Mutual Fund, N represents the amount invested in Nippon Mutual Fund, S represents the amount invested in Sensex. Hence the objective function can be written as return R is equal to 5.5% of F, 23.61% of T, 6.63% of N, and 13.16% of S. And this function needs to be maximized. Next we apply some constraints. The first constant is the capital constraint. We have in total 1 lakh rupees to invest. So the sum of all the different investment amounts should be less than or equal to the total capital that we have. Next comes the risk constraints, and the first risk is that the total amount at high risk should be less than 20,000, and since in our case only one investment option, which was Tata Mutual Fund, was in the high risk category, that's why any amount invested to Tata Mutual Fund should be less than 20,000. Then the other risk constraint was that the total amount at risk, even the moderate risk or high risk, it should not exceed 60,000. So hence the 3 different investment options which has some risk, low to moderate to high risk, the sum in those three investment options, being the Tata Mutual Fund, Nippon Mutual Fund, and Sensex, that sum should be less than or equal to 60,000. Then there is this non-negativity constraint, and that means that none of the invested amount should be negative. Now we model whole problem into a linear programming problem, where we have to maximize this variable R subject to the following constraints. We can solve this linear programming problem using Excel, Python, or any other software of our choice. I have used Excel for this solution, and our solution suggests that we should invest 40,000 in the FDs, 20,000 in Tata Mutual Fund, nothing in Nippon Mutual Fund, and 40,000 in Sensex to achieve the maximum return of 12,186 rupees, which is about 12.2% of the invested amount. What we see here is the return is not as exorbitant as 23%, which was in the case of Tata Mutual Fund, but it is also not as low as 5.5% of the FD. This is a pretty much decent return, and at the same time, we have also minimized the risk by diversifying our investment scheme. So in conclusion, we can say that linear programming gives us some kind of control. It allows us to define how much risk we want to tolerate, and at the same time it also allows us to maximize the returns from our investment. Using linear programming problem, one can always find an optimal mix of funds, at the same time being able to control how much risk they are ready to tolerate. LPP simplifies the portfolio diversification problem and hence helps us in building a very robust, resilient financial plan. And one can also remodel this problem in case they want to model it as minimizing risk problem under some minimum return constraints. In the end, we summarize our findings. So in the end, let's put everything together once again. Saving is definitely essential for our financial security, independence, and in some sense we can also say it's not just essential but it's crucial. And the best time to save is as soon as you can. Starting early can have many advantages, like low insurance premiums. You can enjoy the benefit of having very minuscule insurance premiums on your health insurance and term insurance plans. Starting early has its benefit of compounding returns. In future, you may be very happy to see how much your money has grown, which you invested today. And the most important thing is that it gives you a freedom to make some risky but very rewarding career moves, like taking a break to improve skills, or pursuing some passion as an alternate career, or even try your hands at some business startup. But then saving is just only a small part of a good financial plan. The basic saving options available to us are not good enough to mitigate the effects of inflation. So one needs to diversify and invest in stocks and other assets. One also needs to have some insurances for some unforeseeable circumstances. But when you decide to invest, you should be also aware of the risks involved and have an effective plan to minimize the risk as much as possible. The assets having high returns also have high risks associated with them, while the low risk investment schemes can also have very low returns. In fact, none of the investment opportunities or even the saving schemes are 100% risk free. But we can always minimize the risks through diversification. The last but not the least is linear programming. Linear programming helps us in finding an optimal allocation of funds, keeping our financial goals in mind and helping in diversification at the same time. One can model a linear programming problem as a risk minimization problem or a return maximization problem. We hope that we have answered a lot of your financial questions. This was not meant to be a complete comprehensive guide, but the ideas discussed in this presentation will still help you ask the right questions to yourself or any financial advisor whose help you seek in future. We wish you a fulfilling financial future. Thank you.